Hey, this is Gorgeous George. That's Goze, and this is our first MMA Junkie Radio Weekly Rewind. We'll start off the week. Joe Lazon, he was a guest of ours. He's fighting at UFC 123. We've had him on so many times that I felt like we're going to have to ask some different type of questions, and there's a few things we have in common. Like he's a Mac guy, he loves Apple products. So just talking about what, Hootsuite, which is an app for Twitter. He's the one that got me onto that, talking a little bit about the iPhone 4, whether he should get it or not. And that just took us like in different directions. And, one of our listeners, Angelo, today was telling us that's something he really enjoys. And maybe that's something we have to might probe a little bit outside of your typical, how's your camp, how's your weight, is this the biggest fight of your life? Those types of questions that I guess can just be repetitive.
I think there's definitely an interest in it. I think that's why people are so addicted to things like Twitter. They want to know what these guys do in their spare time. And I thought it was kind of weird. I didn't even know. I know Joe Lazon was a gamer, but he pretty much says if he's not in the gym, he's at home playing video games. And it's pretty much a split.
Yeah, Rafael Davis stopped by. We didn't know too much about him. And he's a guy from our neck of the woods in California. Chatted up with him. That was courtesy of MMA Agents, our good friends over there, Pavia, Nate. They actually told us he was staying in the hotel here at Mandalay Bay. So Rafael spent some time with us. That was a ton of fun. Tuesday, like you stated, Evan Dunham stopped by in studio for 2 hours. Almost got that 3D label on him. We did an after party a couple days ago with Evan Dunham. So if you don't know what we're talking about, we're trying to get that 3D nickname to stick, and we came close.
I think it's pretty much a done deal. I think what it comes down to is Evan doesn't want to go in and go, hey guys, I have a nickname, can you change it? I think he feels kind of like douchey doing that. I really think we're very close here. I think maybe next time he's in here, I think it'll be done for sure. And it's Rafael, remember, George?
Rafael, yeah, I apologize. Often gets confused with that H-sounding R that we're accustomed to using with Brazilian fighters. So you're correct. It is Rafael Davis.
Randy Couture, Handy Couture. I mean, it happens to me all the time.
Also, we had Damasio Page on that day. Nate Quarry talking zombies. That was a ton of fun.
Nate Quarry, I don't want to say he's a tough interview, but the problem is he's very sarcastic. He's a really cool guy. And sometimes when you're doing the show, you want to be professional. And he gives you these jokes, and man, you don't know if you want to laugh at him or not. And it's really high and really low with Nate, because sometimes he'll be really funny, and then he'll just tell you the saddest story of you've ever heard about his life. He's really got a good life, and I'd like to see maybe hopefully in the future he'll write a book or something, because the guy's been through a lot.
Andre Winter, it's always great to have the guys from the other side of the pond chatted up with us, and courtesy of Spike, they helped us connect with Andre Winter, who was preparing for his fight out in Germany. Kind of cool talking to the guy we hadn't talked to before.
Andre Winter's a cool cat. He's the kind of guy I think you'd want to hang out with. He's very real, and I think that's cool about him.
Misha Tate, great guest, great fighter, but honestly, she's a great co-host. I think she has a future, after fighting, if she were to want to do any type of broadcasting.
You see we always talk about how we want our show to be almost like when you're driving, you hear the radio and you hear the morning shows, and they always have a female, in the background, and she talks. And I would say that would be my choice, because not only does Misha know what she's talking about when it comes to the game of MMA, she's just very cool, very down to earth. I think a lot of people can relate to her.
Now, on Thursday, we had been anticipating the possibility of Mauro Ranallo being on the show. He was supposed to be on Wednesday, wasn't able to happen, but finally Thursday we got him. We locked him down for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we were talking about this on the way in. This is easily in our top 10 favorite shows of all time, maybe even top 5.
I think for me it might even be number 1. I really have to reassess the whole Roddy Piper was fun, and Randy Couture and Vanderlei Silva at the same time was great. This one just had this different dynamic. It almost didn't feel as if we were interviewing Mauro. It just felt like this was a different show for the day, where it's Gorgeous George, Goze, and Mauro Ranallo. And, like I said, the in-studio is what we try and do is we want you guys to see different sides of these fighters. And I think that was an excellent show that was able to showcase a lot of what Mauro does. He's just a lot of people think it's a shtick. That's him, man. He's like that all the time. He's the coolest guy ever.
Kyle Watson did his weekly tough recap, the Ultimate Fighter reality show for season 12. He's part of that cast, and he comes on every week. Always fun with him just to get the background info, and then we also got the Tough Enough gang, Jeff Meyer, who brought in Matt Dalkemper, one of the fighters that's fighting tonight at the Orleans Casino. We've had a great relationship with the Myers, Barry and Jeff, over the years.
Those guys have done a lot for MMA, and it sucks that if you're not in the Las Vegas area, you may not have heard about some of the things that they've done, but a lot of fighters have come from there, and it's kind of cool because now you get to see them almost graduate of sorts. Now you're seeing Ryan Couture and Strikeforce, so you kind of want to root for those guys, but really, if it wasn't for them, I don't know what some of these fighters would be doing.
We also got a visit from Ryan, the Sunday Junkie winner for November 7th. Joey Odessa stopped by. We talked a little bit of fights with him. And then we fast forward to today. Today, we had planned on having Melvin Goulart stop by, but it didn't come to fruition. Cub Swanson didn't come to fruition, but we still managed to recap WC 52. Our callers really stepped up today, as they did with the Misha interview, the Evan interview, the Mauro Ronaldo interview. I mean, really, the callers, they're like, we have 3 men in the booth. They're that fourth man.
Yeah, today was kind of a weird show for me because we had so much going on. And things did kind of fall apart there, but then for Demetrius just to kind of show up like that was great. And
I failed to mention that. So just, aside from the show we did recapping WC 52, previewing UFC 122, we got a special surprise. Turns out the guys from the sportsbook here knew one of Demetrius Johnson's handlers, friends, and saw him walking around. Next thing you know, he's walking in. John and I are looking at each other like, who booked him? But it was a nice fit. Because we lost Goulart, we lost Swanson, but we did pick up Demetrius Johnson.
Don't interrupt me again. The thing I want to clear up about Cub Swanson, we didn't get him on. We've known him for a long time. It was actually our bad. We were pretty much late on the time. He went to get something to eat, and then from there we just weren't able to make it happen. But I'm sure we'll make it happen next week.
Yeah, and I apologize for interrupting you guys.
Don't do it again. We're good.
I will try not to do it again. All right, who am I missing here, Goze? Aside from today, I think Aaron Frame from Las Vegas Nutrition Center kind of told us how to be a little bit more healthy physically and what we're putting and ingesting into our bodies.
Yeah, Aaron was cool, and you could tell at the beginning she was a little nervous, which I can understand it, but really when it comes down to the show, nobody should ever walk in here and feel nervous because it's just a bunch of people bullshitting. We're just talking. And so if you're a listener and you're ever here in Las Vegas, don't ever be scared about getting on that mic because it's going to be fun, I guarantee you.
Speaking of listeners, an outstanding performance put in by our friend from who's Belgian-born and lives in Switzerland, Benji. Didn't make it today, but he made it for 3 straight days.
3 straight days. Very cool guy. This is going to sound kind of odd, and I hope you guys don't take this wrong, but if you want to get remembered by the Junkie Crew, bring us a present. I've noticed this. I know, right? Joe Montana, he brought us a rock, right? He's a miner. We still have that rock, but if he were only here for 1 day, I will always remember that because, I don't know, it just seems like Benji brought us chocolate. I always remember Benji. It just seems like, I'm not saying you have to give us the greatest thing on earth, but just something to remember you by, and it really helps.
It sure does. Anyway, it was a ton of fun here, and we also went to the WEC media workouts. I got treated to watch the fights in person, and I believe you were able to get there and watch a few of them outside the Pearl, and it was kind of fun just seeing everybody from the MMA world after the show, after a great show, and lingering about, got a couple quick interviews, and that was just a good way to finish out the week. And the week's not done because we still got Tough Enough tonight.
Tough Enough's always fun, man. I got to thank them. They're one of our sponsors, and LVNC, they really help us out. I know you guys, as listeners, have been buying some of their products, and we see you guys at the show all the time. So thank you for all that.
All right, that is our MMA Junkie Radio Weekly Rewind. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
I'm just a little chubby guy.